Hello again, everyone. This is American Idioms Part 41. This is the 41st video in my American Idiom series, and like the others, I'll present 5 idioms to you numbered 201 to 205. But first, I'll give you the opportunity to guess their meanings. Then I'll explain each of their meanings to you using additional examples to help you to understand them better. So, are you ready once again? Okay, here we go. Number 201, drop the subject. And the example is, I'm very tired of my boss talking about people being late for work every time we have a meeting. Can't he just drop the subject and move on to something else? Can you guess the meaning? The answer here is B, to stop talking about a topic, and that's what it means. If someone asks you to drop the subject, it means to stop talking about it. And in our example, this is what the person was talking about with his boss. The boss, every time they had a meeting, he kept talking about being late for work, and this person wanted him to just drop it, as we say, to stop talking about it and go on to something else or move on to something else. All right, here's another example. Okay, we've been talking about how your team won the championship all week long. Can't we drop the subject now and talk about next season? Similar to our last example, this person wants this person he's talking to drop the subject, to stop talking about it and move on to something else, like how the team will do in the next season. All right, here's number 202, take for a ride. And the example is, after I signed the contract to buy a used car, for some reason it felt like the used car salesperson had taken me for a ride because he seemed very dishonest. Can you guess the meaning? The answer here is C, to swindle or deceive someone, and that's how the person felt in the example. He didn't trust the used car salesperson, which probably you shouldn't most of the time, and he thought that he was trying to, the salesperson was trying to swindle or deceive him. Okay? That's what it means to be taken for a ride. In this particular context, it doesn't mean to literally take the car for a test ride. It means to deceive or trick someone. Here's another example. My aunt was taken for a ride by an email scammer last week, and I felt really bad about it because she is elderly. Now in this case, the scammer took my aunt for a ride, or they deceived her, they tricked her. Okay? That's what it means to be taken for a ride in this particular context. All right, here's number 203, in a pickle. And the example is, our company downsized many employees last month, and now we are in a pickle because we can't meet our deadline with such a small staff. Can you guess the meaning? The answer here is C, to be in a bad or difficult situation, and that's what it means if you are in a pickle. And that's what happened also in our example, where the company downsized many of their employees. They got rid of a lot of their employees, and then they couldn't meet the deadline because of the staff size. So they were in a pickle. They were in a very difficult position or situation. Here's another example. If you get in a pickle when you arrive in New York City, you can call my buddy Gerard for help. Okay? Similar to our last example, if someone is in a pickle, if they're in a bad situation, the person advised their friend or whoever this was to call up their friend in New York, Gerard, for help to help them get out of the pickle. Got it? Now, number 204, turn the tables. And the example is, the new evidence turned the tables on the prosecution in the murder trial, and it now seems like it will be difficult for them to get a conviction. Can you guess the meaning? The answer here is A, to change or reverse something dramatically, and that's exactly what they're talking about in our example. In the murder trial, the prosecution maybe thought that they would get the conviction, but new evidence arrived somehow, and that turned the tables. It reversed probably their case, and now, according to the example, they may not get their conviction. So the new evidence turned the tables on the prosecution. All right, here's another example. We did very poorly with production last month at work, but we were able to turn the tables this month when we hired some new people. Like our last example, they turned the tables on their situation at work where the situation wasn't very good. So by hiring new people, they turned the tables, they reversed their problems with production. Got it? All right, our final idiom, number 205, turn one's back. And the example is, I really like the company that made my cell phone, but it turned its back on average people like me when it raised its prices on its new cell phones because I need one right now and I can't afford to buy one from them. Can you guess the meaning? Did you guess C, to ignore, disregard, or exclude someone or something? If you did, that's what it means in this example. Well, that's what it means to turn one's back on someone. In this case, the person maybe wasn't really rich or they didn't have a really good job. They just couldn't afford the products from this company who at one time maybe had reasonable prices on their cell phones. But when they raised the prices on the cell phones, this is what happened. The person felt like the company turned its back on people like him or her. All right? That's what it means to ignore or disregard the average customer in this case. Here's another example. I love my son very much, and I'll never turn my back on him no matter how bad he does at school. In this case, the parent is not going to turn their back on their son no matter how bad he does at school. Maybe another parent would be mad or ignore or disregard the person's behavior, their child's behavior, but this parent is going to stay loyal no matter what. They're not going to turn their back on their child. Got it? That's all for this video. Thanks again everyone for subscribing, and if you get a chance, please share this video. And do one more thing. Keep practicing! See you next time.